you no sooner get finished with one, then you sort of start making sure that you put the pieces together for the next one. So thanks, Marian, and it's yours.
Okay, so the budget document that you have in front of you, any changes that we've made since the last presentation have been highlighted in blue. I'll start with the bottom line to our real property tax. Based on changes that we were able to do, we were able to reduce the 2013 tax revenue by $57,902. The 2014 by $50,238 and 2015 by $98,034. We made one change to provincial conditional grants, and that was to recognize the recycling grant of $2,172 that we're expecting to receive for the Main Street tree mats. And the other revenue was a $45,000 increase to our transfer from reserves operating in 2015. We have a project we'll talk about later, a $90,000 project that we broke out over 2 years, so we wouldn't tax for the entire project in 1 year to try and balance those capital projects out. The next change we made was in Public Works General, and we reduced that by $1,000. And the reason for that was just simply a reallocation for their coveralls and those types of equipment that we supply. We broke it out between wastewater and public works so that those costs were allocated appropriately. So that expense was reduced by $1,000, but we also increased the wastewater by $1,000, which offsets it. In 241100 wage accounts, and we have water and sanitary wages. We had a reallocation of wages in that based on capital projects. So what we did is we didn't want to double tax for the wages that would be apportioned to a capital project. So we just reallocated that from wages to capital. And that was over all 3 years. Sewer plant maintenance, we increased that by the $1,000 for the clothing expense, but we also increased that by $8,000. The cost of chemicals are going up substantially, and in particular, the polymer chemical that's used at the treatment plant is increasing, and the amount that we're using is increasing due to the new technology that we're using up there. So we increased that all 3 years by $8,000. The next line item was the $45,000, and again, that's that $45,000 that in 2015 we then transferred back into the capital projects. We broke that $90,000 project out over 2 years. The Chamber of Commerce is still highlighted. That's $3,000 there. We've had word back from the Chamber that they would still like us to give them the $3,000, and they will consider reallocating that to the Native liaison position on an annual basis. They wanted to make sure that we didn't just simply absorb the $3,000 and it was used particularly for that project. So we've left that $3,000 in the budget. The next change we made was under town beautification, and that was, we had an increase there, and that was only simply to cover the additional costs of the tree mats, because as you recall from a couple of meetings ago, we received more grant funding than we actually applied for, which then in turn will allow us to do more work with that project. So we increased the expense to match that. Light wage, we also reduced that and transferred that to capital projects. Under capital, the change we made was under sanitary sewer. capital, and that's $90,000 in 2015, and it's a screenings compactor at the plant. What's happening with the new press is it's pushing so much of the material into fine particles that's now kind of getting caught in those screens, and so it's just to take that material out and compact it so that it doesn't require additional maintenance at the plant. Right now, the way things are working, it's just requiring a little additional maintenance, but Bart felt 2015 was a reasonable time to replace that. And then light capital as well, that includes, we increased that to include the additional expense for the wages. So as was directed at the last meeting, we've come in with a balanced budget for 2013, 14, and 15. As I said in the opening remarks, we were able to reduce each year by $57,000, $50,000, and $98,000 respectively. I just wanted to give you a bit of an indication of what that would do if we're able to maintain that at the time we set the mill rate. Using last year's assessment, so not taking into consideration the 2013 assessment because we don't have that yet, or the 2012 assessment for 2013 taxes, sorry. Using last year's assessment, we would be able to reduce the residential and non-residential mill rates by 2.3%.
Wow.
Should we clap?
We better. We better. Mm-hmm.
Any questions?
Well,
on
first
those
of all,
changes?
again, commendations. This is one of the most critical functions that administration performs. And I think, honestly, you've done an admirable job with the assistance of our councillors on the committee as well. But in-house, you've done a tremendous job. So I think I would, in fairness, speak for all of council in extending our kudos and appreciation for that. Any questions? Let me call for, let's record Councillor Kronen's motion to approve the 2013 budget, and then we'll have questions on the motion that can be directed to Marian.
Marian, it's a question not directly on the budget, but linked to that. You said you would foresee a drop in the mill rate of 2.3%. Do we have an idea when the assessor will come and give us a sense of what the assessment in this town will be?
We'll have those assessment figures by the end of February.
Thank you.
And for the Dairy Queen purposes, I hope that's February of 2020.
We hope he gets his building finished before the end of December.
Yeah.
I hope so too. Any other questions or comments on the motion for approval of the 2013 budget? I'll call a question. All in favor? Motion carries. 2013 budget is approved. Now, do you want any comments to be made? Do you want to do anything before we?
Sure, on the 14 and 15.
14 and 15.
We've been working very diligently to try and put together a 3-year budget, and it's taken some time. Rome wasn't built in a day, as I told one of the councillors earlier. We had to look at it really all-encompassing. So by council taking a look at future utility rates, future costs, it's allowed us then to be able to really, I think, build a fairly accurate 2- and 3-year budget. Obviously, there will be things that come up over time, and we'll have to amend those budgets as we move forward, and future councils will actually make the final approval on those budgets. But I think it gives us as administration as well as council a better direction and a better planning document moving forward. So I'd like to extend my appreciation to the staff for putting the effort into really doing a comprehensive 2- and 3-year budget over and above the 2013. So what I would like to see council do for planning purposes is if you were willing to approve the 14 and 15 in principle. I think it gives, of course there's an election in October again, so it will give, I think, the new council some sense of where council was at for their planning moving forward as well.
The chair will honor a motion to approve in principle the 2014 and 2015 portions of the 3-year budget, moved by Councillor Dahl. Any discussion on that motion? I will call that question. All in favor? Motion is carried. Approval in principle is approved for the 2014-2015 portions of that budget.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to call a motion to proceed to the public hearings on 1582B, and the same motion will cover the public hearing for 1606B. Councillor Creed so moves. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor? So council has officially convened the public hearings for bylaw 1582B on utility rates and 1606B on electrical distribution rates. So we'll turn that over to administration for introductory presentation. And as this is a public hearing, Marian, do we have anyone who is officially requested to be heard in this public hearing?
No, I have not had any official.
Do we have any correspondence that would be requested to be read into the public hearing?
No, I do not.
Okay. So Marian, if you will present, now let me just refresh my memory. We did we not, first reading on both of these bylaws? Okay, so what we might hope to get out of this is second and possibly third reading on these bylaws. So that would be our objective if council chooses to do so. So Marian, if you'd like to proceed. Now, are you going to follow 1582 to its completion and then I guess move into 1606? Okay, all right.
Okay, so the bylaw 1582B that is presented is a bylaw of the town of Cardston in the province of Alberta, respecting utilities including water treatment and distribution, wastewater collection and treatment systems, and storm sewer collection and electrical distribution, the utility bylaw of the town of Cardston on February 23rd, 2010. The initial bylaw was given third reading, which is bylaw 1582. The bylaw reads, now therefore the municipal council of the town of Cardston duly assembled hereby amends the utility bylaw of the town of Cardston as follows. Schedule A, setting out the rates for utilities in the town of Cardston, shall be replaced with the Schedule A attached hereto. Schedule A utility rates are broke out into water, sewer, and wastewater collection and wastewater and water connection fees, as well as electrical utility connection fees. Those rates are structured for 2013, 2014, and 2015. Mr. Mayor, I don't believe that I will go through each of those rates individually. Just for council's information, we did put a copy of these rates in all the mailboxes in the town of Cardston. We also printed this in the local newspaper as well as on Channel 32, our website, and Facebook. We had a couple of comments. If you recall the background document that we gave council when we were reviewing utility rates originally, we actually put all of that background information on the website as well. We did have, I believe, 2 or 3 comments was all we received. Once they had reviewed the information that was available, they understood council's rationale for the rate changes and seemed to be fine with that. So,
if I could, Marian, I think it's in order that administration be commended, because this council's been a council that's wanted openness, transparency, information, education flowing from this office, from this chamber to the public, and I think you are to be commended for following up with the goals of openness and transparency. So information has very clearly, very carefully, very adequately moved from here and to the public. So thank you very much.
thank you. The second bylaw that is presented is bylaw 1606B. And this bylaw is the bylaw of the town of Cardston to amend bylaw 1606, which is the electrical distribution bylaw. And pursuant to the Municipal Government Act and pursuant to the Electric Utilities Act, the municipality is given certain rights and powers concerning the ownership of our electrical distribution system. And whereas it is necessary to provide new rates, the Council of the Town of Cardston duly assembled in acts as follows: that Schedule A distribution tariff rate schedule, effective January 1st, 2013, be included and form part of this bylaw. And again, Mr. Mayor, rather than going through each of those rates, I think we've dealt with that individually as we've moved forward.
Okay, thank you, Marian. Council, any comments or questions? Councillor Creed and then Councillor Court.
Just comment that I understand that these rates that are proposed are actually reflected in the budget that we just approved. And as I talk to people, that these things had to be paid for and it should reduce taxes. And I'm pleased to see that it actually has reduced taxes. And so that's good.
Thank you. Well, and in all honesty, Councillor Dahl has been sort of the dog on that bone for a while. If we go to more cost recovery on the utility side, are we going to be able to see some lowering of taxes? So that's good. Thank you, Councillor Court.
Just a clarification on the sewer rates, Blood Reserve. They don't have. They're not. Are they connected to the town sewer?
There's a number of homes that are, yes. Not all of them.
We charge them the same rate as we do an in-town person.
Yes, we have an agreement with the Blood Tribe that we would charge the same rates because they contributed $400,000 on our capital raw water line.
Okay, thanks for answering that question.
Okay, I think at this point, I'm going to throw it open. If there's anyone in the gallery who would like to be heard on these issues, that's allowable in the public hearing. And because we want to offer Nell, if you'd like, Mrs. Holland, the opportunity to speak to these bylaws. If not, I will call a motion for second reading of bylaw 1582B on the utility rates.
In public hearing, or do we have to go back?
We need to go back, don't we? Okay, thank you. I will then take a motion to adjourn, reconvene the council. Councillor Court moves that we adjourn the public hearings and reconvene to council. All in favor of that motion? We are reconvened to council. So now I'll take the motion to have second reading of 1606B on electrical distribution rates. Sorry, I'm dyslexic tonight. 1582B utility rates. Councillor Kronen so moves. Any comments or questions on that? I will call that question. All in favor of second reading. The chair will entertain a motion for third reading of 1582B. Councillor Court so moves.
As much as we aren't having another council meeting, I think we should deal with this.
Okay, so Councillor Court has moved third reading of 1582B. Discussion, seeing none, I'll call that question. All in favor. Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion for second reading on 1606B. Councillor Dahl so moves.
We haven't voted on the utility rates 1582B. That was only for a third read, Mr. Mayor. My motion was only for a third read. You haven't done a third read yet?
Yeah.
We just did.
That was it.
We just did.
That was it?
We just did.
Boy, blew right by me. All right.
So now we're
I know some copy of it doesn't show.
To support,
for our support. Yeah.
because you'll participate in the application.
Now, Councillor Kronen has moved participation by resolution supporting the 2013 Old Man River Region Urban Orthophotography, I almost said ophthalmology, but it's orthophotography project. Any discussion on the motion by Councillor Kronen? I will call that question. All in favor. Motion carries. And I don't ask for any opposed when I see all hands go up, so just for the record. Now, the addition, and you've got it handed out to us, and it is calling for an increase on the credit limit for the one credit card held by the CAO. We were in Edmonton at AUMA, and one of the rooms, we had to just about kick him out onto the street. One of the rooms put us over the credit card limit. And I mean, it wouldn't have hurt my feeling, because I mean, to see Councillor Smith out on the street in a tent, that wouldn't hurt. I mean, it serves him right. Here he is in Mexico. Yeah. So basically, we're just asking if council would like to approve the corporate credit card credit limit to $10,000. Any comments on that, Councillor?
Question, what was it before?
Five.
So we just doubled it?
We just doubled it.
It can go further.
Were all the other card authorized for $5,000?
Yes.
So yours never was above that amount?
Mine was never any more than theirs. And that's the...
And you're the one who pay everything?
That's the one time that it usually is a bit of a problem, depending on how many councillors go and how many rooms we have. And
I'm a guy for air miles, so I'd have fronted it with my card, but I didn't have the opportunity.
I wasn't over by much, like $300 or something for that particular time, but rather than saying $6,000 and the next time it's another $100, right?
So here's the questions. Councillor Kronen moves the approval of that one corporate credit card limit being extended to $10,000. If I could comment, there are two other credit cards that are town credit cards, Marian. Are there not two others, did you say? They're at 5?
More than that.
There's more than that, okay. And if anybody's interested, none of us have one. None of us have one.
All of our foremen have a card. They're authorized to have it.
And they are the $5,000 limit. So, any discussion on that motion to extend that credit limit on that one credit card held by the CAO for extended to $10,000 limit? I'll call the question. All in favor? Thank you very much. The financial report for November 2012.
Aren't you going to do the...
Sorry?
70E?
Oh, we just did.
7F. Staff breakfast you put in there.
7F?
F, the staff?
No, that's that was number, I think that was 10. Item 10, we put the breakfast on it.
Okay.
But we can, okay, first of all, I will need a motion on the November 2012 financial report.
October 1st.
Well, if you need one.
Councillor Court moves. Any questions on that financial report or on the motion by Councillor Court? I will call that question. All in favor? That financial report is approved. Okay? So now, we don't really have any committee reports in front of us. We do have the question. Marian, just give us a little bit of background on the safety program and what happens, and then we'll discuss that request for council to look after that breakfast this coming Monday.
So we have a policy that every 5 years, if we continue to get rebates on our WCB premiums due to our safety program and our standards, that we will purchase a coat for each of the staff with a portion of that rebate. This is the year And so we thought that it would be nice to host a breakfast for the staff and deliver those at that time and recognize them for their work in that safety program. So we would like council to come assist Jeff and I to cook the breakfast that morning if you're available to do that.
Which day is that in a week?
Monday, December
Okay, I'll be
10th,
there.
Monday morning at 8 o'clock at the shop. 8 o'clock?
So the shop is on the highway there going to Waterton, right?
So Marian, that's where you want us to be on Monday morning at 10 o'clock, at 8 o'clock?
Yes. If you could tell me how many is going to, well, doesn't matter, I guess. Okay.
It's a little tough for you.
It is a little tough for me.
Okay, so we've got Councillor Kronen, Councillor Edmonds, and a chair.
But if you need me, I'll arrange it.
Councillor Court is going to say yes.
I said yes.
Councillor Dahl said yes. A little tough for Councillor Creed. In a pinch, he can do it, but with 5 of us, we should, that should do it.
That's sufficient.
Yeah, 5 is sufficient. So thank you. We will have a moment of silence as we're eating the breakfast that's left over. Okay.
That's 7 o'clock?
8 o'clock.
8 o'clock?
It's
You want us
7 o'clock Saskatchewan time.
here at 8 o'clock, or you want
At
us?
the
No,
shop
7 o'clock BC
At
time.
8 o'clock.
How long do you think that will take? How long do you think it will last?
We're hoping.
Half hour?
Yeah, short.
Yeah, well, I gotta take breakfast break anyway, maybe I'll come.
Okay, so
There.
8 o'clock at the town shop.
45 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
8 o'clock?
8 o'clock at the town shop.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, then we'll all be there, so.
Now, we go into correspondence, and you have I guess, a Christmas message from MP Mr. Hillier, the Honourable Jim Hillier. The additional piece of correspondence, 11B, concerned me, and so I wanted it added to our agenda today. It's from Kevin Phillips, our consultant on the electrical utility side. Marian, do you want to speak to that, or to sort of lay out the groundwork?
Yes, basically the background to this is Kevin keeps tabs on what's happening at the Utilities Commission and applications that are going forward and what rates are being set for transmission and those types of things. And basically, he's just been made aware of some of the rate impact increases for the major transmission builds that were just released the week of November 21st.
That is unbelievable.
He said it's a good thing that we as a municipality have been continuing to monitor that, and we've been adjusting our rates to try and keep in line with that so that we don't have to pay much catch-up. But he says he got a sense with this announcement that there may be a fairly substantial increase required for 2014. He said the current ISO charges are based on the forecast of 2011 requirements of 960 million, but their current forecast for 2014, the revenue requirement would be $2.24 million, which would be
2,240 million.
Sorry,
2.2 billion.
2 billion, sorry, which is an increase of 133%. They're also projecting a 9.4 and 12.1 increase for 2015 and 16, but in his opinion, he thinks they've underestimated those percentages. So right now, it looks like they don't intend to implement a rate change till January 1st of 2014, but he wanted us to be aware of those. I asked if I could bring this to council. He said, yes, it is public information. Okay. So
I was very, very concerned about this, as you can imagine. Councillor Kronen?
Marian, 133% increase, it more than double the rate for the transmission portion of the electrical bill. It's outrageous.
Unconscionable? Criminal? all kinds of words that...
Everything. I mean, how can you not advise the public ahead of time of the impact of such a project, even if it's needed, and throw that on the front of people and say, well, guess what, you have to pay it now.
And here we are as the
Makes me
municipality,
sick.
we're caught in the middle of this. We have no choice but to pass along all those increases. So as a result of that, as you're sort of gaining your collective gasp and your collective breath, I suggested to Marian that we needed to make sure that our intense displeasure was expressed to our MLA and to the minister who I think sort of looks after Southern Alberta, the Minister of Municipal Affairs, Greg Whittick in Lethbridge. And so I think...
There'll be also letters sent to AUMA. I mean, if we collectively run through that organization.
And I would hope that AUMA would step up and play a role in that as well. So yes, thank you, Councillor. Because here's a comment that I don't know, I think it does apply. There's been some sources that have said that these electrical transmission lines may not be that necessary. There's also been comments that some of the electrical transmission lines that have been proposed are to export electricity to California or other places outside of our borders. If indeed that's the case, I don't feel the citizens should pay that. I don't think the municipality should pay that. Whoever the players are in the electricity game should bear the brunt because they're the ones going to get the benefit of it. Unless I'm wrong.
How do we find that out?
Well, we're going to take that up. That's the purpose of my my indignation. I hope would result in an answer from the Minister of Municipal Affairs, from AUMA to take this cause up for us, and through our MLA. And I don't know whether anyone else shares that or whether I'm the only one around the table that shares this indignation at these egregious costs.
Well, we knew it was coming, but not to that extent.
Well, my point is, if an oil company can afford to put a pipeline from Alberta to Texas and pay for it themselves, why can't the Utility Commission do the same thing?
Well, the major players in that generation and distribution of electricity, and not the citizens and the municipalities. That's my concern.
Because the government way of handling that is to let those big corporations pass on the cost down the line.
Now, because it's on the transmission line item in our electrical bills, do we have an idea of what that's going to look like in real dollars for a lot of us?
I don't at this point.
Okay.
I don't.
Kevin will probably be able to give us a little bit of help on that. So Council, I guess what we're looking for, what we maybe, if you agree, is that we craft a letter, and maybe we send a copy of this letter from Kevin Phillips, again, because it is public information. We craft a letter to AUMA asking for their support on behalf of all Alberta municipalities and to our MLA, Mr. Bickman, and to Mr. Whittick, who I believe represents the South in the Department of Municipal Affairs. Marian?
I would just suggest that the body of the letter would encompass this information that Kevin's given us. I don't think we need to attach his email.
Do we need a motion for this, or just some, okay. The chair will honor a motion to that effect. Councillor Creed so moves. Do you have what you need, Jill, to craft that?
Do you also want it to go to the Minister of Municipal Affairs along with the deputy?
To the minister, and he'll pass it along where it needs to go, I think, yeah.
Mr. Griffiths.
I give it to both then?
Yeah, you can give it to both. So any other comments, Council?
Can we get other people on our side to write a similar letter from, say, the communities around the neighborhood?
Well,
I hope that would be accomplished by our letter to AUMA. I think it would be. Now, I don't know when the first mayor's caucus is, but it needs to be on the agenda for the first mayor's caucus. Yes, Marian?
I think one of the reasons that we're more aware of these type of things changing is because we own our own distribution system. So a lot of the other municipalities may not be aware of this information. So I think AUMA is a good venue to have that discussion with.
Intermunicipal meeting committee.
Now, having said that, Marian, do you think a copy of I would maybe be willing to speak with Mayor Patience in.
Well, yeah, I think we could CC the other AMPS communities.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's yeah. CC the other AMPS, Panoka, Crow's Nest Pass, and Fort McLeod.
The one thing they're doing, though, is making it more beneficial to go off the grid. The cost of solar power and things like that keeps coming down.
Become more affordable.
And it's
for
going to
sure.
become more affordable, but if they keep jacking up the rates, they're going to start losing people. You know, people are going to start using candles again. It's going to be cheaper than it is to turn the light on.
Okay, so now I think we better call that motion because I don't think we voted on that motion. All in favor of that motion to write that letter. Thank you very much. That carries. We have completed our agenda with one exception that again requires that we go in camera. Now, Marian.
For the press, you should let them know what that is. They weren't here when that was added to the
Okay.
agenda.
The additional confidential item is a rather sensitive internal employment issue. Okay. So, oh, by the way, Marian, what time is dinner scheduled for 6?
They're working on it right now to try and have it ready by about 1:45. So.
Okay, so if I could, I'd like a motion to go in camera. Councillor Edmonds moved we go in camera.
Check where she's at.
All in favor of the motion